Hi, Anton. How are you?
Good. Thank you for joining me, Bruce. Great to have you.
My pleasure. Thank you, Anton. A pleasure to be on your show. Appreciate it.
Right. Thank you. Hey, Bruce, you're obviously known for electrifying crowds and the voice of the Octagon. How do you get up for that? How do you get yourself? There's be days when you wouldn't feel like doing it. How do you get yourself mentally and physically prepared?
I basically every night before the show, I have the card preparation that takes me hours to do over the course of a week, 4 to 5 hours. And then I get notes when I get to the show. Usually domestically, I arrive on a Friday, do the show, and leave on a Sunday. Internationally, like for Australia, I will leave on a Tuesday or Wednesday to get there on Thursday or Friday and then leave on Sunday. So basically before the show, the night before, I'll have a nice dinner, get my work done. I don't go out and party. I used to do that all the time. But the show is important. I don't drink. I just get a great night's sleep. I love to sleep 8 or 10 hours. Wake up in the morning, have a power breakfast, good workout, get my head in the game, finishing my cards, meditate, get my head into the energy of what I'm about to do and then prepare for the show, get into the uniform of the day, whatever tuxedo or jacket I happen to be wearing at the time. And I don't rehearse. I don't like rehearsing. When I write the cards, I get the names down phonetically that I need to say, and I write them phonetically on the cards. Which you notice, unless I'm reading a sponsor, I rarely look at the cards. I've got the information in my head unless I need to. And then when I walk out into the arena, then I feel the energy of the crowd, and that's what gets me going. So the more energy I'm getting, the more energy they're getting. But also during COVID, I played to audiences of 100 people, and I still managed to give it all for the fighters. Because the bottom line is, I am there to enhance that moment for the fighters and for the fans, and
Beautiful.
that's it. I'm a
Love
servant. I'm the UFC soldier. They point, I shoot.
They're in service. I love it, Bruce. Great
Yeah.
attitude. Um, hey, one thing that I love about your intros is you're really up front and personal, up close and personal with the fighters.
Thank you.
Like that connection. Is that something that you have developed, or like how's that worked out? That connective.
Um, you know, it's like this when you know the fighters the way I know them and you've worked around them as much as I have, the biggest honor I have is the respect that I receive from the fighters. They know that I understand fighting. I've been in martial arts my whole life. I had 3 black belts. I respect everything they go through. I fought a lot. It was kickbox heavily for 12 years. And um, with that being said, I know the mentality of a fighter, right? And when it comes to announcing, I I don't enjoy standing still in the center of the octagon, with all respect to announcers, doing their thing and standing and, doing all this and everything, which is fine. It's great. Especially my legendary brother is the greatest announcer of all time, Michael Buffer. Me, I've got a tiger inside me that was waiting to get out. And I realized that with the octagon, there was only a couple of commissioners and the referee and the two fighters, unlike boxing, where there's 50 people in the ring, trying to get on TV and be with their fighter. I had room to move. And I wanted to, again, enhance that moment. So I get close to the fighters because I'm looking into the eye of the tiger. And I never institute a fist bump. They institute it to me. You'll see him walk out like last weekend. Ian Gary from England came out and put his head on my head. Gets really into the grab me, pull me towards him. Fighters have a tendency now; they're starting to touch me and coming close to me because they're getting ready. They're getting ready to put their blood, sweat, and tears on the line as they go to war. So, with that being said, I'm just giving them everything I got, and some of them really get into it. And quite frankly, Anton, it's not show business; it's show biz. It's good TV.
I love it. And it sure is. It sure is, Bruce.
I'm there to
So,
entertain. I'm there to. I'm there. I'm just not an announcer. I'm a performer. I'm an announcer, yes, but I'm there to perform. And I want to give every
yeah.
energy I can to make sure that you as a fan get as excited as you can be. And trust me, I'm getting excited myself because I love what I do.
And therefore it's contagious.
Hopefully.
Hey, what's the craziest or what's the weirdest, funniest, what's the best story you've got from being in the octagon? Like maybe unexpected. What happened that you has just, blew your mind?
In the 29 years, about to be 30 next February, that I've been doing this, I've
Mm,
seen more than I can remember. And that's why I wrote my book, its time so I could, remember as I wrote it, everything that I did in that. But in answer to your question, I mean, whether it's Habib Nurmagomedov, jumping over what was it? Was it Conor McGregor jumping over the octagon to, finish a bad blood between he and Nurmagomedov's crew to, um,
Mm.
you know, at Anderson Silva, one of the greatest fighters of all time, getting his leg broke, which was completely, atrocious to see. And you feel for them. You feel for the fighter. I feel for the
Mm.
fighter when they
Mm.
lose, when they win.
Mm.
Whether it was a brawl for it all and an after party in the early days when uh, Waleed Ismail from Brazil, sucker punched Big Tank Abbott and all hell broke loose. It was like
Right.
right out of the movies. I mean, people were flying over tables, we're all in the fight. And I remember that
Right.
one guy turned around, one of the fighters, and he was going to hit me. And, I was defending myself and he goes, "Oh, sorry, Bruce. Sorry, Bruce." And he runs back into the fray, right? It's like movie type material down to, I think what's most memorable in a positive and hurtful way is when you realize that these men and women, when they go in there, the fight they have at hand could determine the rest of their career. And if they lose or go through an emotional moment, you can't help but feel for them. It's very emotional. I care for these fighters so much, and they're all
Mhm.
fantastic. I've met maybe four people in the UFC that I would consider to be a rude person. I won't mention
Right.
names, but
Right.
as a whole, being martial artists, they're also humble and also wonderful to meet and love what they do. There's a passion that goes with them that is just
Mm.
amazing. So, as you can see from your question, it's very hard for me to pinpoint
Mm.
one time.
No.
And of course, when you see a fighter retire, that's always a
Yeah.
very touching moment
Oh, it would be for you.
when
The
they
one
lay their
thing that
lives down.
absolutely. One thing I thought you might share, 'cause I watched an interview with you one time as preparation for this, and I watched quite a few. You popped your knee in the octagon one time.
Oh, that, yeah, gonna bring that up. Okay, yeah.
Look, I don't have to. I
No,
just thought,
actually, well, I see that this is an example where I'm not thinking of myself. I'm thinking of everybody
oh
else. Like,
no, I get that. I get
as
that.
far as one of the most horrific situations for me was, yes, I was in front of 55,000 people in Toronto when George St. Pierre fought Jake Shields. The show
Mm.
sold out in 6 hours right
Mm.
away. And
Mm.
I had rolled my ankle in a poker tournament the week before, and I was on crutches until that Thursday. The blood engorged my ankle. I had to have it drained out. And then I was leaving on Friday for Canada, and I left on Friday and was able to walk without my crutches, thank God. Went in, did the show, and uh, jumped, turned, did everything possible. And then when the main event came, went in to introduce George St. Pierre. And when I said George Rush, he lunges out and he always does that. And I bunny hop back, which I always do when I announce him. And my bad ankle wobbled, which caused my knee to explode. And I severed my ACL like a
Wow.
football player does. But luckily, I didn't fall. I finished the
Wow.
announcement. I walked out. The referee, John McCarthy, said, "I think you just blew your ACL." And Stitch the Cut Man brought me an ice pack. And here's the announcer with a leg rolled up, ice pack on his knee. Two guys are going at it, the warriors that they are. What's wrong with that picture? Right. So I got a special brace and held off on an operation for 3 months because I had a movie to film and shows to do. And I had a 4 week window that opened up for me and I got my ACL replaced. And normally it takes you 8 weeks or more to get back, but I was back in the octagon in 4 weeks.
Wow. Great job, Bruce. Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
Uh, Talking about being in the octagon, you're famous for the two words behind you. I love it. It's time. And I know that you've got a lot of other businesses going on. Yeah, I know, right? There it is there. Hey, if in another business, have you ever thought about if you had to do something else, or if you had to be that famous for two words or three words in another business or for one of your other products, you ever thought just creatively, what's another catch phrase that you use?
Actually, none. When I first started,
Mm.
my brother, the legendary greatest announcer of all time, Michael Buffer, with his Let's Get Ready to Rumble, I've been his manager for over 30 years.
Right.
And I didn't want to be seen as Frank Sinatra Jr. I wanted to be seen as Bruce Buffer. I was not even phrase driven. Everybody wanted to go, let's get ready to this. Let's get ready to
Ah,
that as an announcer. Now I'm noticing they're going, it's this time, it's that time. It's like, you know what? You want to be
ah,
recognized, create your own style. Create your own individual style and be recognized for who you are. That's really what's going to take you to the top if you're good at what, or great, or, perform well at what you do, no matter what you do. So for 7 years, give or take, I had no catchphrase. I just would go in, and to me, it's not what I have to say, it's how I say it.
Yeah.
That's my main gig, how I say it. So with that being said, I would wake up every morning and looking in the mirror and I go, it's time, and slap my face after I'm shaving. And that was me telling myself it's time to have the best day I can have, be the best I can be, and I've always did that. And at the start of the UFCs back in the old days, at the beginning of the show, I would go, it's time to begin the Ultimate Fighting Championship. And that's how I started every show up until when Dana bought it. And he brought me into Las Vegas for the Godfather meeting and said that he didn't want to start the show like that anymore. So I said, fine, I won't. But then I realized a year or so later, a couple years later, one thing Michael pointed out to me, and he's right, at the end when you're doing the main event and you're announcing the judges and the sponsors and all, this is the main event of the evening, and our sponsors are, and our judges are, and the win's being taken out of the sale, right? So you want to bring the audience back in. And I thought, wow, it's time. Okay, they've been sitting here as fans, TV and in the arena, watching this for 5 hours, give or take. The fighters have trained for 8 to 10 weeks. And now this is the main event. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. It's time. So then I started incorporating that. And my inflection was different back then. If you look at years ago and look at the way I do it now, and I used to jump 3 feet in the air and, all that. I had to start cooling that down a little bit when I blew my ACL. I still jump or hop. I have no ACL in my left leg. I did another event for the UFC called a lip sync contest and came out and did Billy Idol's Rebel Yell song where he jumped at the beginning of the video. And when I jumped, my knee popped. And you can Google it and see it. Bruce Buffer blows knee at lip sync contest. And I did a 3-minute rendition of Rebel Yell, but I fell 45 seconds in because my knee went out 2 or 3 times. And I went back to get an MRI the next morning. They said, you just severed your ACL. You got to lie in bed for 4 days. I go, no, you don't. I got to be in the octagon in 4 hours. And I went in, did the show on one leg, basically. They brought me a brace in the middle of the show. But it wasn't just one show. There were 3 shows in a row, 3 days in a row. First and only time in history we ever did that. And I got through them all. I go back, I'd ice my knee at night and sleep and put on the brace and go back and do the show, a little Buffer light. But again, the bottom line is the fighters are fighting. They're putting their blood, sweat, and tears on the line, their lives on the line. I can announce, I can finish this. No problem. People don't realize I've had come off, laryngitis, 102-degree temperature coming off flu or whatever. The only thing that kept me out of the octagon was COVID. But nobody will know if I'm not feeling well. The show must go on and I get the job done. And that's the way it should be with everybody, no matter what job you're in. Get the job done. Unless it's, unless there are situations where, of course, that go against that.
But I just love get the job done, but that really fits with your turn up in service. I love that turn up in service. And you've got this really outward facing, you're giving, like today, you're very giving of your information, you're giving of yourself and of your time. And that's really special.
Thank you. I like to give my time to the fans. My business partner, Kristen, and I, we have a audio and video business where, I'm on Cameo down in Australia, and people write into our website, brucebuffer.com, for us to do video and audios, introducing them into their wedding reception or the birth of babies or whatever, introducing like a champion in the UFC. And, sure, we have to charge a little bit of coin, but I charge a portion of what I could normally charge for because we want to make people happy. So without the fans, we're nothing. So we do a tremendous amount of videos and audios at brucebuffer.com, and I'm happy to do all of them. It's a way of making money, of course. We're in the business to make money, but at the same time, giving back.
And I think I might even get you to do a video for me, Bruce. That'd be very, very cool. An intro video.
Just write brucebuffer.com.
That's right. Love it. Bruce, you've been amazing.
Or through JT, of course.
Of course. Just full transparency, I've signed up already. Just so you know. Okay. I've got to fill the form out. So absolutely, and a big shout out to JT for connecting us too. So we should do that as well. Bruce, you've been absolutely, he's a great coach of mine. So hey, thanks heaps. Really, really appreciate your time. You've been amazing, and I can't wait to share this with my crowd, my tribe. So
I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Anton. You're a true gentleman. Thank you so much.
I can't wait to see you in Australia. Thanks, Bruce.